Yep. The word is sound. Oops. Oh, you now in the golden hour.
Alright, good evening everyone. If you haven't noticed, super nervous, don't like public speaking, but we'll give it a go.
Got this.
So, good evening everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jordan. As Nika just said, I am Bob's best man. I first met Bob about 14 years ago when I got introduced to the sport of rugby. From day one, we've been really good buddies. To some people on the outside looking in, if you listen to us talk to each other, you would think that we don't care about each other at all. We can be super harsh, mean, and rude all in the same sentence to each other, but it just means we care for each other. Just the other day, some last minute wedding prep, I said to Bob, made a fat joke to him. He knows he's fat, don't worry, it's like not a shock to him or anything. But he turned around and said to me, that's awfully hypocritical, giving it right back to me. So that's kind of the relationship that me and him have always had. So when he asked me to be his best man, I was somewhat surprised at first. Normally you think about it, it's a long-time buddy of yours, spend a lot of time with, get really close to, and I thought to myself, I can count on two hands for sure the amount of times that me and him have done something outside of rugby. True? So, but then I thought back about it and I said, you know what, for 14 years, me and him have seen each other almost every single day. Between training at the gym, practicing, playing games, traveling with rugby, across the country, sometimes other parts of the world, we spend a lot of time together. Possibly a little more than our other halves would like to say. They're not going to admit it, but it's probably true. I mean, let's face it, as you can see by his physique and mine, you know we're hard working in the gym, otherwise you do not look like this. So for those of you who know Bob, and I mean actually know him, you know he's a pretty intelligent guy, sometimes on the annoying side. He'll go out of his way to correct you and insist he's always right. Now that he's with Vic, she's going to tell you otherwise. So Vic, when I first met you, you were actually living in your rental at the time in Airport Heights. And Bob had asked me to give him a hand moving into what would be their next apartment. So if you ask me, I'm actually the reason you guys are all here, so you're welcome. And there's definitely one thing I know for sure that you 100% care about him. It's because you put up with the snoring. So again, on all these rugby trips, I've spent many times in the room with him. Late at night, he's roaring louder than the Boeing 747 landing, and I'm trying to get to sleep. Anything that wasn't affixed to a wall or a floor, I have thrown at him. Lamps, sneakers, like everything that you can think of. Never changed. He kept roaring away. Anyway, all jokes aside, Vic, you've got yourself a very genuine, one-of-a-kind guy there. Over the years, I've seen Bob be very loyal, be a leader, be hardworking, and literally bleed for his friends and myself on the rugby pitch. If he's half as dedicated to you as he is to me and the rest of his rugby teammates, you guys are going to have a very long, happy life together. Congratulations again, guys, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Jordan. That was amazing. I can promise the person giving the speech up next has not made any fat jokes to Vic in the week leading up to her wedding, so that's very positive. So up next, I'm so happy to bring up Melanie Adams. She's Victoria's maid of honor this evening. They've been friends for a very, very long time. They used to live together back when they were poor, struggling undergraduate students, and I know they went through a lot. So please join me in welcoming up Mel tonight.
All right, so anyone who might know me knows that this is a pretty big deal for me to get up here. So it means I obviously love Victoria a lot, and Bob, of course. So yeah. As some of you may already know, as Lika just explained, Victoria and I were randomly placed as roommates in Burton's Pond for our first 2 semesters at Mon. I was 17 and she was 19 at that time. At first glance, there were few similarities between us both. But what we didn't know then was that we had each just met someone who would become a lifelong ride or die friend to each other. No matter what our differences. Throughout the last 11 years, it hasn't mattered if we lived in separate apartments, provinces, or have followed our own unique paths in life. We've always been able to depend on each other to be there when we need it. One of the many qualities I admire in Victoria is how she can befriend just about anyone. She also has a tendency to put the needs of others above her own, which is why I'm so happy her and Bob found each other. He's able to look out for her and make sure that she takes time for her own self-care. I remember I was speaking with Victoria on the phone one evening during her time in Goose Bay, and I'd asked her what she was doing. And usually, when she had time to talk, she was in the back, and Bob was like making food or doing something. So I asked her what she was doing, and she said, "Well, I'm making something for supper." And I responded with, "Oh, Bob must be away, is he?" Victoria laughed because she knew exactly what I was getting at. Bob always makes sure that she has a home-cooked meal to enjoy with him and that she's well looked after. As I've gotten to know Bob throughout the last couple of years, I've been able to see how much he cares about my beautiful friend, and I'm so happy that I got to stand with Victoria today, as she did with me on my wedding day, to marry your partner in life. I think that their relationship was something genuine. I think I knew that their relationship was something genuine when I met Victoria at one of Bob's rugby games early on in their relationship. I had never seen a game, nor did I know a thing about it, and neither did she, or so I thought. I was shocked when Victoria was easily able to explain exactly what was going on and the rules of the game as we watched. I remember thinking to myself, there must be something this guy Bob, if Victoria's invested this much time in learning anything about sports. Although they are both 2 very unique people, they complement each other perfectly, and it's clear they love each other deeply. They respect each other, and most importantly, understand what each other needs to be happy. Please join me in raising your glasses to celebrate the newlyweds, Bob and Victoria.
Cheers.
The bar has been set high tonight, folks. Very, very high. All right, so before we get into the parent speeches, we're going to have a bit of fun. Vic and Bob are ready for this. So one of Vic's lovely bridesmaids, Sandy Hamilton, who, if you remember from the ceremony earlier, read some poetry. That was actually poetry that she had written herself. So big props to Sandy. That takes a lot of effort and courage to do something like that. So we're very impressed and proud of Sandy. She's amazing. She's also taken the time to prepare everybody's favorite wedding game, the shoe game, for Vic and Bob. So Sandy's going to come on up right now and guide us through the shoe game.
Okay, we're gonna put you guys back here. Yeah? Yeah, and the chairs, take the chairs. Okay, so anyone who doesn't know what the shoe game is close enough to up. Okay, I was gonna do a nice emotional speech, but I'll cry, so we're gonna just have fun. Alright, right here. Okay, so anyone who doesn't know what the shoe game is, they're gonna give each other a shoe. So switch it up. And I'm going to ask them general questions about their lives, about their relationship. And whoever is the recipient of that answer, they raise that shoe. Okay, you guys get it. I'm just saying for anyone who doesn't get it. Like if anyone's never been to a wedding in their life. Okay. You can do it live. The bunny goes around the tree. It doesn't matter. You just, as long as you know which one is your shoe. You got that? Oh, that is important. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start. Who hogs most of the bed? Who's a better driver? Who's a better cook? Who uses more toilet paper? Who has the better sense of direction? Oh. Who has the nuttier family? I'm not a bodyguard. Who has the most shoes? Okay. All right, now we're getting serious. Who was the first one to say I love you? Who was the first one to make the relationship official? Like Facebook status update. Alright, discrepancy. Okay. Who was the first one to have a crush on the other one? Who always gets the last word in an argument? Okay. Who's a better kisser? Who's a better flirt? Who is smarter? This is what I thought. Okay, who spends more money? Who's more clumsy? Who talks the most? Who talks the loudest? Who has the better laugh? Who's more serious? Who's more flexible? Who's more dramatic? Who's the biggest baby when they're sick? We're gonna have words. Who gives better presents? Oh. Who gives unexpected surprises? I didn't say good ones. Who's the first to apologize? Who has the better hair? Who is more forgetful? Who cries the most during movies? Who's more stubborn? Who's the best fisher? Who's better at stats? Who was most nervous about today?
Jordan.
Who's most likely to yell at a telemarketer? Who's more of a morning person? Who's most likely to be late? Whose cell phone is most likely dead right now? Who exercises more? Who eats the most fast food? Who does most of the housework? Who sings better? Who dances better? Who's best at holding their liquor?
Per pound here.
Who takes longer to shower? Who takes longest to get ready? Who's most...
Is that the cane? Let go.
Sorry. Okay. Who's most likely to lose their debit card?
Sorry, Bobby. What happened last week?
Who says
One time.
yes, dear, more often? Who says yes, dear, more often? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Who's better at picking up women? That was also redundant. Who's best at standing up to their parents? No, just jokes. All right, last one, really super serious. Who do you love more than anyone else in the world? All done, thank you very much.
Who else has a huge smile on their face right now? That was amazing. Round of applause for Vic and Bob and Sandy, the lovely hostess of the shoe game. That was fantastic. All right, now we get to get back into speeches. So next, I'm so happy to invite up Bob's parents, Scott and Colleen Rogers, traveled all the way here from Portugal Cove, and I'm sure they'll give us some lovely insights into Bob's early and current years. Buckle up. Scott just says, what happens in the cove stays in the cove. Well, I think we'll see about that.
Thank you very much. Do I really need a microphone?
Not if you're snoring.
Anyway, folks, first and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out to this Joy's event this afternoon. Food was wonderful, the weather held off, the drive was amazing. It was great. I guess at this time, though, we've been asked to formally introduce Victoria Lockburn to our family. And so, but I'd like to let you in on a little part of our first introduction. We were in Florida, Bermuda, on a holiday, and when we came back, people were, oh, Bob's got a new girlfriend, Bob's got a new girlfriend, everyone's after meeting her, she's a lovely girl. Okay, we don't get introduced it. We didn't know anything on, how come we're not getting introduced to this person? I was starting to think she was like the Stuffaluppagus or something. But we were at the rugby game. Usually everything centers around rugby one day, and we were sitting there just getting ready to watch the game, and this lovely girl come walking up towards us and introduced herself to us. Said, hi, I'm Victoria. I said, yeah, you introduce yourself to us. Bob wouldn't do it. That was all good. Her first impression was, oh, she's a lovely young girl. And then within the first 5 minutes of her there, she reached into her knapsack. She hauled up